name is Flori Kazingufu. I'm the coordinator and founder of the Chirezi Foundation. Why did we set up the Peace Courts? We have set up the Peace Court to ensure accessible, fair, and non-punitive justice to those living in rural villages, in communities where legal system is not working or where the legal system is not functioning, and in the context where conflicts can quickly turn violent and lead to death. Well, if someone asks me why the peace courts are really needed in those places, I will simply tell them that in those places, many people live in poverty. We have many conflicts across those communities. And with those conflicts, these people, they don't access to justice. Why? Because there are long distances between justice structures. There are costs associated to justice. And we have corruption of the justice system, like the lawyers. And not only that there are corruption and there are costs associated to justice, but also it takes time to deal with cases when they arrive to the magistrate court. So that's why now we found out that it's really important that we should help the people to organize themselves in order to be able to access to justice. If we compare our system to the official courts, we have observed that state justice system has failed in the DR Congo, especially between the decades of war. For instance, if we take the example of 100 cases that have been reported to the magistrate court, only 26% of those cases are resolved. 25% are pending, and 4% were unresolved, while 55% of those cases are waiting funds to be processed. Now, if we look at the Baraza courts, the Baraza community courts can work complementary to these national justice institutions that are not really functioning to the advantage of the people. Why? Because it is locally led and locally benefiting the people. Also, almost all the cases that are reported to the Baraza are resolved. Okay. Again, finally, I can say that the resolution that are linked to the Baraza doesn't leave behind wounds between parties in conflict, while in the magistrate court, their resolution often lead to violence and lead to wounds. But for us, when the conflicts are resolved, we have what we call the community ceremony, the public ceremony of reconciliation, where people, they agree to just settle their problems, and collectively, the answers that come from there, the answer is fair and collectively accepted by everybody. Now, if someone asks me what do the peace courts do and how do they work, it's simply very simple. When a conflict arises in a village, it is brought by the members of the community to the principal court committee. The parties in opposition then come to meet the committee, where they are given a date of hearing, and after that, each party is given time to tell his story in front of as many people of the community as possible. Following this, the committee then meet in private for fact-finding investigations and deliberation, the result of which then relate back to the accuser and defendant. This can include private apology, public apology, work or payment, etc. But when all parties agree with the decision of the judges, the community organizes a reconciliation ceremony in which the agreed resolution between parties is publicly declared. If one party has disagreed, a time is given to digest the decision, following which the freedom of appeal is always given. We give them time to think of the decision, and then they can come back to the court committee and say, this is how I think the problem could be resolved. However, once the peace court committee has given its decision, it is then viewed as the community decision, and one which is unbreakable. If it is not ultimately accepted, then it can then proceed to the government magistrate, where we have our lawyer, a paid lawyer, who will assist the party that accepted our decision. And if they ask me, for instance, why our peace courts are so important for the community, what I can say is that the peace court is also important, very, very important, because of its theory of change, which leads to conflict resolution. And from conflict resolution, it brings greater collaboration between the community. And from greater collaboration from the community, it leads to community mobilization. Now, you say when we give the community a competence to deal with their conflict, to solve their conflict, it does what we call conflict reduction. And after that, it leads to greater collaboration. And from greater collaboration, we really hope that when this is really applied, it leads to community mobilization. And at the end, community mobilization, when people they start dealing each other with the matters, it goes to sustainable peace. That's the peace theory that we have. And that theory of change help us understand that the peace code is an all-inclusive process, one that fosters social trust and community cohesion. Why? Because when a conflict arises, it is the well-being of the community at large which is at stake, and not solely the satisfaction of the person who is the victim, but it's the whole community which is like in the package. Now, if they ask me a story that have changed someone's life, a typical example that I can tell, we have so many. Since we started in 2010, we have so many stories. But I recall one story in Kiliba, which is just in South Kivu. An ex-combatant took the land of an older woman, well, about 60 years old. The case came to the knowledge of the Baraza court, which convened a meeting. After some hearings, it was not really easy to solve that problem, but after some hearings, the land was given back to the old lady. Why? Because the ex-combatant was under pressure of the community, and he was publicly asked to come in front of the court and give proof that the land belongs to him. But at the end, because the community are there, they know the history of the land, he was obliged not to use his force of an ex-combatant, but had to accept the decision of the community. Finally, the land was given back to the old lady, and she's living in her land and to the satisfaction of everybody. That's a very touching story seeing an old lady being confronted to a next combatant, I'm sure if they went to the police or went to the magistrate court, the old lady couldn't claim back his land because of money. She couldn't have money. She didn't have any power. She didn't have any knowledge. So I'm sure the land couldn't be given back to her. But because of the community, the land was given back to her because the community is the center of the village. They know what is happening. What range of cases do peace courts deal with? Baraza approach has successfully demonstrated that they are able to resolve small-scale conflict before they become violent within a fast-paced time frame that does not really ask for a lot of money. And these conflicts are daily conflicts. They come every time. But they are very small. They are small-scale conflict, but they can lead to significant consequence and can result in serious injury or death sometimes. For instance, gave the example of illegal arrest, banditry, land conflict, sorcery, adultery, domestic violence, heritage, attempted rape, robbery, breach of trust, thirst, access to water, public injury, kidnapping, threatening behavior. All those are small conflicts, but if they are not really resolved, dealt with, they can become very serious and cause harm and death in the village. So if we go to another question, why do we have all-female courts? What is the effect of women in the community? So why do we have all-women courts? This is really very important question. Once a peace court is being established and is an accepted and recognized process in the community, FOCI facilitates the creation of an all-female court. This follows the Baraza committee decision that the women's group is reliable, meets regularly, and shows consistent commitment to active community participation. This creation of all-female courts was in response to the low number of gender-based conflicts, such as sexual violence, taken to the General Peace Court. The female peace court are similarly led by a 5-person committee, and it is here in which issues felt to be private, such as marital rape, can be discussed openly without a male presence. When a resolution is not reached, the case is, however, sent to the principal Baraza and Peace Court for further investigation and further resolution. But when we start first by a all-gender peace court, which after that can lead to, can create a female court. So another question is that how the peace court is set up. How do we do training, the price of setting a peace court? Those are also questions that we can deal with. The Baraza are made up of 4 different groups of people. We have first 5 people, which is like a committee, a main committee. We have youth group, which can be at about 10 people. We have a women group, about 10 people. We have other remaining Baraza members from the community, or about 50 to 100 people. All those people create what we call the Baraza. The selection process for each of these roles is democratic, in that the community gathers together and one by one votes with a show of hands for each position. The roles are therefore chosen by the community for agreed strength in leadership and the willingness and ability to work for the well-being of the community. Each of the other groups also has a committee with the same structure, and all groups led by the committees meet on a weekly basis, once a week, to deal with that. Traditional wisdom is relied upon initially, but once principal roles have been established, Fochi staff provide biannual trainings in mediation and conflict resolution skills. Fochi current working budget, on the other hand, if we talk about the cost of setting the court, is 2,000 per Baraza per year. For a current total of 9 Barazas that we had last year, this gives us an annual budget of $18,000. This covers the follow-up of the Baraza gathering, the peace court sessions, transport, communication of staff and volunteers, training and capacity building of Baraza members, the rent of the courts, the Baraza space, the media and other advocacy means such as theater, radio program, and monthly bulletin. If we calculate approximately 6 peace court cases per Baraza per month, the total cost for case is about $25. That means to just handle one case, we spend only $27, which is really not really significant, because if you look at other costs associated to conflict resolution, it's really far beyond that, you know. Now, there's another question people can ask: how many people are covered by the court? The number of the cases resolved are taken from Fochi record. No, we take a record every time that we deal with a case, and that shows an average of 500 cases per year. You know, assuming that each case involves a minimum of 2 people, it is clear that 1,000 people per year are directly affected by the Baraza. However, over the course of the last 3 years, the total number of the cases came across 1,500, and the number of the direct beneficiaries rises up to 3,000 people. Estimating that each family consists of 5 members, at minimum, it can be seen that over a 3-year period, 15,000 people have been indirectly affected, not directly, but indirectly affected by the Baraza. If the people, they ask me how I would like the court to grow, this is a very good question, because as part of an internal approach to scaling up, our donor, Peace Direct, has secured funding to scale up Fochi's work with the Baraza, and is currently in the process of increasing the Baraza by an additional 5, taking the total number of Baraza from 9 to 14, with female court integrated into each. Fochi's ultimate goal for Baraza expansion, however, is to reach all 7 territories of the South Kivu, with 25 Baraza per territory. But not only that, we would like also to go far beyond the territory and go over the 3 territories, and even go to North Kivu, and why not all the Congo. Finally, what I can say to everyone looking at me or viewing this video is that the peace court, the community peace court that we have established, it's a model that can be used in countries or in area in post-conflict conflict areas where the justice system is not working or not well functioning, or if it's functioning, it's not functioning for the benefit of the people. And I'm sure that there's no way of trying to to debate on or compare this system, the traditional system, and the modern system, because you can compare where the system is working, but where is not working. I think for us it's good that we just apply the system that helps the people, the system that can help prevent the community conflicts that are raised, that can really tend to be very violent or lead to death. And the example of Congo is really relevant because the Congo have been with decades of conflict and violence where the community was left alone. The state was in fact not existing, and the ex-combatant was doing what they want. So there were no system that was working. So with the Baraza, we have seen really improvement of the situation, and we have seen how people, they are coming to us asking for setting up new Baraza in their areas, and how they are fleeing from the police, fleeing from the justice, because they are corrupted, because they are they're not existing, or the system is far from their place. They have to work months before to access to justice. In that context, I think what is to do is encourage this model and try to help the local community deal with their own problem. That's why our theory of change is that if we give competencies to these people, I'm sure they're able to reduce the violence in their community, and which will lead to collaboration. And from there, when there are collaboration, of course, there will be mobilization of the community, which will lead to sustainable peace. So please, we have already many letters from different communities asking for us to come and set up this model, train them. So we ask our donors to continue really fundraise for us, and we ask those we are working with really to really be proud of this model, because we have really done something that millions of dollars pumped in Congo is not doing. So with a little bit of money, $27, we're able to resolve a case which could lead to death of many people in the community. So we ask you really, we encourage you to help us, to join us and build this tower that is really has been started. The Peace Court is really a good model. I really encourage you to read the book that our consultant Alana wrote, and I think you will learn more from there. I will finish by thanking Peace Direct, I can say our uncle, our father, or our grandfather, I don't know, but let me prefer say our uncle, because Peace Direct is such an organization which plays the role of an uncle who comes and helps you to set something, assist you, set your model, see your finance, see the model of monitoring that you're applying, bringing training to you, trying to build your capacity. So I really thank Peace Direct, and I really salute every effort that they're doing for us in the Congo. Not for Fochi, but for the whole people of the Congo. Thank you very much.